I'm Jason Cullum with Ground Loop Heating and Air Conditioning, and today we're going to talk about loops. So you have a geothermal installed in your home already with pipes in the ground, and now you need to do some digging, and you need to know where those pipes are. First, let's answer some basic questions. There are three main styles of geothermal loop: open loops, vertical closed loop, and horizontal closed loop. Open loops and vertical closed loops are drilled deep into the earth, anywhere from 50 to 400 feet deep. Horizontal loops are installed anywhere from 4 to 5 feet below ground. It's the supply and return line from these loops that most of your digging will interfere with. These supply and return lines can run 3 to 5 feet below ground. However, there are instances where loops do come up shallower, so hand digging is always recommended. Can I put things on top of my geothermal loop, such as driveways, gardens, trees, etc.? The most common place for a geothermal loop is a parking lot in a commercial building. So yes, you can drive, park, or plant a garden on top of your loop. When planting trees over a loop, we recommend caution and thought. Trees can grow large enough to pinch or kink loop pipes. That'll obviously depend on what kind of tree you're planting and how long it'll take to grow to that size. How can I find my loop? Vertical and open loop systems are almost always registered with the county health department, so reaching out to the county is a good place to start. Horizontal loops are mostly unregulated, and counties usually don't have records of where those loops are located. These county documents are also not always accurate and good for a general sense of the loop location. However, a good installing contractor will have a loop drawing with the important points on your loop. When you see a copy of your loop drawing, it usually looks like this. At first glance, they look complicated and they're clearly not to scale. But the measurements listed allow you to triangulate the points you need. Triangulation, what does it mean and how do I do it? Triangulations are two different measurements from two separate points to one common point. For example, the distance from point A to point 1 is 10 feet, and the distance from point B to 1 is 15 feet. By drawing a circle around point A with a radius of 10 feet and a circle around point B with a radius of 15 feet, these two circles have two intersecting points. If we consider the location of the house, we can eliminate one of those points. The remaining point is our triangulated location of point 1. This is because those two circles will only touch at one possible point. That point is our triangulated location. Let's see a real example. We're here at Scott's house, and the technicians have used 2 points off the corner of the garage to measure off of, point A and point B. In this field, there are also 3 primary points for us to know about: the location of vertical loop 1 or well 1, well 2, and HP or the header pit. The header pit is the most important point because that location has all the connections made by hand underground. Now that we have our points of reference, you can see from the chart, the distance from point A to well 1 is 16 feet, and the distance from point B to well 1 is 20 feet. If we draw 2 circles around point A and point B with the given radius, they will intersect at well 1. That is our triangulated location. Let's repeat that process for well 2 and the header pit. On your loop drawing, the measurement chart shows the distance from point A to well 2 is 15 feet. The distance from point B to well 2 is 33 feet. Again, if we draw 2 circles around point A and point B with the given radius, they will intersect and give us our second triangulated point at well 2. We would repeat this process again for the header pit to give us our third triangulated point. Now that we have our loop triangulated outside, we can determine the supply and return line from the house out to the loop. First, we'll go in the basement and find where our loop pipes run into the house. We'll take a measurement off of some reference point and then measure outside to find that location. Here our example is 4 feet off of the foundation wall. Our drawing also shows the pipe goes out 4 feet and then turns to the right under the driveway. From this point, the loop goes in a straight line out to our header pit. We're Ground Loop Heating and Air, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions, give us a call at the number below.